Hi, I'm Elida.
And I'm Delara.
And together, we're the founders of Exhibits, a mobile app we built from scratch, showing all of London's exhibitions, museums and galleries in one place.
Because it shouldn't be hard to find weekend plans in London. So, we took a break from coding and came to visit all the coolest venues in London this summer.
And so here we are today at the Old Operating Theatre. Come with us whilst we explore. Oh wow!
The Exhibit Sisters present Poppies in the Attic.
We are currently in St Thomas's Church. So this church was built in about 1702.
Okay.
And this would have been part of St Thomas's Hospital when it was here in its Southwark site. This church is the oldest surviving part of that original hospital site, which is so cool. This level, which is, we refer to it as a garret, it's just another word for kind of like a livable attic with like much more vaulted ceilings. Very different from like a house attic that's like a tiny little triangle.
Yeah.
And this space was originally introduced for the apothecaries to dry and cure herbs for medicines.
Fine.
It was used like that for about almost 100 years, which is incredible, and it's such an important part of the hospital that was sort of hidden away. They were trying to find out more about this space, what it was used for. One of the things they found under the floorboards were opium poppies, which wouldn't normally grow up here.
Wait, the actual flowers
The actual
were growing.
poppy, yeah. And so that was a really key sign when they were trying to figure out what the space was.
Do you think those flowers were growing under the floorboards because some seeds had
Most likely.
fallen from being dried?
Yeah.
We don't get soap this shape or size
No,
anymore. So
not
everyone's
in
like,
that level.
"God,
Yeah.
whopper, you know? Should we hold it together?
Yeah.
So here's the cardboard soap.
In the 1860s, antiseptics first kind of become a big part of surgery.
Okay.
And initially in surgery, it'll be mostly used as a spray to disinfect the area and hopefully avoid infections. This is a more toned down version,
Okay.
better for hand washing. You can actually still buy this. My grandmother used this a lot growing up, so that
Fine.
smell is just really familiar.
Smells like soap. Yeah.
Yeah, some people love it, some people hate it.
I think
But
I
it's
like it, yeah.
it's kind of, it's got that old
Yeah.
feeling about it. But it is a really great symbol of that movement towards antiseptics. But the smell is a really key bit because it's one of the reasons that initially surgeons weren't so sure about it.
Fine.
Because it smelt so bad, they were like, are you sure this is like the right thing to do? This
Yeah,
is a good thing
interesting.
for the patient? And it does dry out the skin a little
Fine.
bit, especially in higher doses. So sometimes the skin of patients would be very chapped. It wouldn't necessarily look great,
Yeah.
but it was doing a really, really important job. Now in surgery, we've moved from antiseptic to aseptic, where it's just the removal of germs in the theatre at all.
Okay.
But this is the first step, and it does make a huge difference
Yeah,
in
yeah.
infection rates and in survival rates too.
Nice. So if you have an operation and the surgeon has washed his hands with this, you're more likely to not get an infection afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. And if he's
That's what
spraying
we
you down
need.
with the acid too, you're pretty good.
It'll be a bit dry.
Bit dry.
But you'll be safer.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. And that's carbolic soap.
These doors are a really important symbol of why this theatre was put in an attic. So on the other side of this wall would have been the women's surgical wards, called the Dorcas wards, and this is the image of what that roughly would have looked like. So this was already there before this theatre got put in 1822, and this was where often a lot of women would have their operations because they didn't have an operating theatre easily accessible.
Okay.
But after 1822, when they put in these doors, it means that they can bring the patients in here easily without having to cart them across to the men's operating theatre. And it means that they're no longer having to sit there and have their operations right next to each other.
Yeah.
Still a little bit more space.
Yeah, yeah.
I can imagine they probably still could hear some of the noise through this wall. But thankfully, this is a huge step
Yeah.
for just a much better experience for patients.
There's a very tiny chair,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering as to why this chair is so tiny.
Lithotomy is the removal of things like bladder stones. And so when you're on the table as a patient, I'm not going to make you demonstrate this, but you would basically have your legs kind of open.
Okay.
Because the main access point is going to be the urethra.
Fine.
Or the pee hole,
Okay.
as we tell young children.
Yes, yes.
Which is, A, not very comfortable, having a metal rod inserted.
Yeah.
But it also means that the surgeon needs to get nice and low between your legs. And so the chair is there to help steady them so they're not sort of crouching down and that they're at the right eye level. A lot of things are made from wood.
Okay.
Very hard to clean and just a breeding ground for germs.
Yeah.
So increasingly we move away to metal, which seems really, I think one thing that's nice about this theatre is it feels cozy because of the wood.
Yes.
But if you actually think of it from like I'm having an operation, I'd have metal any day. So much easier to keep clean.
Yeah.
And there's no little notches for germs to stay in.
We're in the stalls right now. This is a very interesting structure.
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason the word theatre is used is that operating theatres and operations needed to be watched. It was a really important way for medical students to learn their craft. Surgery is a really key way of understanding not just how procedures work, but also care for the patient. You can learn so much from the dead,
Yeah.
but you need to be able to figure out how best to deal with a living, moving, awake patient.
Yes.
So they would fill these stands with about 100 people. Would have been crammed.
Yeah, like we're
Like
standing pretty
sardines,
but they
like
would have been like
sardines,
this. Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Proper squished in.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of people think that it's going to be a very like calm, quiet place. No. They are smoking, pretty standard at the time. They'd also be talking, shouting even. So where we're looking down on the operating table, you wouldn't just have a surgeon, you'd have dressers and assistants. So there's a lot of people milling about. So if someone is in your way, you'd be shouting heads at them to like move them out of the way. Yeah. And they even reportedly might have even been eating oysters while they watched the operation. Very high class little snack to go ahead with. I can't imagine eating an oyster anyway, never mind while someone's leg is being chopped off.
They're not my favourite.
No, the texture, there's so many senses that are just being a bit overwhelmed there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was a really intense space.
Yeah.
And the patient would be awake through all of this.
That is just crazy.
Yeah.
More the stairs than anything, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the hardest bit. I don't mind getting your leg chopped off.
The queasy knowledge is like
Yeah, it's great for a first thing on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's so operating, isn't it?
And you're happy with your one?
Yeah. Pretty happy with that one.
Okay, as long as everyone's got a postcard.
Indecisive.
Yay. Okay, put.
We took a break from coding to come and visit London's coolest exhibitions this summer.
And this is not an exhibition, so
It's
we have
not,
to do it
yeah.
again.
We took a break from coding and decided to visit the
And we're in the old operating theatre. So come with us as we explore. Great.
That's fine.
Yes. So a really nice thing about the stairs is that you have to wait for the little sign.
The journey continues in episode 2, Chaos in Camberwell.